Alright, the root cause of your hair loss. Now, you always gonna have a cause, and you're always gonna have an effect. What's mostly important is getting to the root cause. Because 10 times out of 10, it's not even about the root cause of the general cause. It's about your root cause. Because you're not getting down to the bottom of the root cause of your cause and effect. And of course, these effects are going to spread. And when these effects spread, then it puts you into a position of feeling vulnerable. And if you're feeling vulnerable about something, that means you lack a little bit of confidence within yourself. Of course, self-confidence is key. But we're going to get to the root cause of hair loss and, of course, sex issues. Because 10 times out of 10, individuals get lost into certain areas. And when they get lost into a certain area, what happens is you start to experience the unfulfilled areas that you're not filling in, that you're not filling up the pool in. And if you're not filling that pool up, your kids ain't going to be able to go there to swim. And if your kids are stuck into one damn bedroom, one damn room for too long, your kids going to start getting demonic. And of course, 10 times out of 10, you want to make sure your kids is happy. You want to make sure your kids is proud. You want to make sure your kids is feeling good, so feeling free for them to basically move around. Because if you ain't moving around, you're too stuck into one area, and then 10 times out of 10, you already know the reciprocations of that. You're going to get your ass raptured, and that big-ass rapture, when that rapture comes too close, it creates fire. And what happens when fire gets too close? It gets too hot. Shit starts spreading. Of course, you don't want to start spreading. You want to make sure when you are spreading, you want to be spreading your wings to basically fly around smoothly. So we're going to get into this real smooth. We're going to attack the main areas of where you need to basically look. So, never ever listen to what your doctor telling you. 10 times out of 10, your doctor may have put you into this position or this situation. Because your doctor is only prescribed to give you certain ingredients. But of course, 10 times out of 10, these ingredients that they do give you, it's not really truly helping you. If you know what I'm saying. If a doctor has given you something for you to constantly take and monthly, and you're not seeing no change, 10 times out of 10 it didn't work. Or 10 times out of 10, if you're not seeing no change, what happens is that ingredient that they're giving you is not really pretty much helping you or pretty much working out in your favors. Now, you can use certain things to basically help you, but of course, if that element does not match the elements and natural facilities inside of you, then business will not be shaken. Business will not get it predicated. Business will not fall up onto the position where you want it to basically fall up under. You're going to be in a situation where business is going to pretty much eradicate. And when things start to get eradicated, then of course you put yourself into a position of frustration, illumination. Of course, when you start to get illuminated, things get out of control. And of course, you don't want things to get out of control. You want to make sure you're controlling every element that you have up under within you. So it's very highly important to know where these areas and what caused these circumstances and situations. Because one day, you're always going to experience a catastrophic event. But what's important is to learn from these experiences, know how these things are erupted, and of course, knowing how to attack these areas. Now, 10 times out of 10, let's get into hair loss. You got to know what hair is. Know the color of your hair, know the complexion of it, know the texture of it, and of course, know how it's played out. Thin, thick, thin. 10 times out of 10, this plays out into a position where you need to know what kind of water, what kind of air, what kind of elements that you need to feed your hair. Because your hair is people. It's actually people. Everything on your body and within your body is a living organism. And remember, you deprived out of the water and you came on land. So that means that chakra wheels are supposed to be rotating smoothly. And of course, if things is not rotating smoothly, this puts you in a position of, what did I just say? You get washed up under that surface. And when you get washed up under that surface, you're not surfing higher, you're surfing lower. And the lower you get to the floor. And when things is not up there, and when you're on the floor, that means you're not seen. That means you're underneath something, which means you can get walked on, depleted, destroyed, killed, eradicated. And hair loss only gonna put into positions where you're eradicated. Look at someone that's not in the body no more. They're dead, they plenish. What happens? Their body starts to deteriorate. Everything on them starts to basically eradicate. And of course, areas that you seen was lively areas are not areas. Feel me? You're starting to see their blood come out their body. You're starting to see the parasites and the worms and all the fluids start to digest and deteriorate out their goddamn skin. Of course, this puts you into a position where this person is dead. So take into consideration, if you're not taking care of your hair, it's gonna die. If you're not feeding your hair the right shit, it's gonna die. Keep feeding it the wrong shit, it's gonna spit it out and get rid of it. Pretty much, look at your hair like it's a garden, like it's flowers, like it's supposed to grow. And of course, if you're not nurturing and putting the right seeds and putting the right oils and nutrients in that hair, your hair gonna fall out. Pretty much, that's how it's gonna play out. And of course, if you're not obtaining and getting in certain areas, remember, you had these kids on top of your head. So areas that you need to fulfill these places, you need to basically make sure they're getting their titties sucked, which means you have to be the mother. You have to cater to these areas. You have to take care of these areas. And 10 times out of 10, even when you was a child, you was sucking on your mom's titties. So that means that she had the milk. And you know, milk was basically making sure that everywhere in your body was being fulfilled. You was basically being breastfeed. Of course, make sure you're breasting and feeding the right areas in your body. If you ain't taking care of that area, it's gonna be an issue. You're gonna cry, feel me? Because you're not basically being fulfilled in these areas. So you're gonna start to act a little different. Things gonna get out of control and eradicated. 10 times out of 10, you can also use milk to basically replace what you're not receiving anymore. Because 10 times out of 10, once you grow up, once you become an adult, you start to, you start to grow and get a little bit higher. That means you're not getting what mom would used to give you. So of course, that means you're not going to the source. You're not getting your information from the source anymore. So if you're not getting your information from the source, you're not getting your recipes and your ingredients from the source, what happens is you're basically looked upon out of the world. You're in a firmament, you're in a box, and things start to get hard. When things get hard, that means you're not moving in certain areas. Things are not replenished. This is for females and males too. This means that information you was receiving from the source, from mama, you're not receiving these things anymore. And things start to basically get arthritis, which means things are stuck, things not moving, things not flowing well. So it's up to you to basically make sure you're replacing these areas and getting the right nutrients to make sure your blood flow and everything is basically going smoothly. 10 times out of 10, look at a cow. Cow got a whole lot of hair. And of course, they contain a whole lot of nutrients within inside of them. So 10 times out of 10, if you're drinking milk from a cow, then you're going to basically carry that. You're going to pretty much 10 times out of 10, you're probably going to get hair on your chest. You're going to start growing hair. Everything is starting to eradicate it. Never look at something like it's bad. For me, you're just using this as a supplement to basically make sure you fulfill areas that you lack. Because if you're not fulfilling areas, that means you're going to lose things. If you're not eating, your body and your cells is going to start to eat itself. It's going to start eating like whatever is not being replenished. Like 10 times out of 10. If you don't have this shit in your body's going to start eating itself. And of course, if you don't have nothing to fulfill or feed your body, you're going to deplete yourself. That's how it plays out. Know that. 10 times out of 10, also what you need to know is your blood type. Because it plays out into different areas. You have certain blood types, you have certain genes. So the way your body is developing, the way your body is functioning, this is going to put you into a position where you certain resources that was already accustomed into your body, that's how it grows. Remember, you came out of the water. So certain areas where you was born at, geographically speaking, certain areas, certain surfaces, and certain ties that you was basically born in certain areas, this is where you're going to carry out all the genes and all the energy and all the supplements that you have within inside of you. 10 times out of 10, you got to look at other people that wasn't born in these areas. Certain people had certain blood strings and blood strands that they didn't have these things. So now when they do come on the surface, they have to basically make sure they have certain sheltering to make sure that they cater to these energies. Take this into consideration. You have one person that don't really need a coat when they go outside. That means they have everything within inside of them. They don't have to look outside for themselves. Versus somebody that does come outside. Now they need a coat. Now they cold and shivering. Now they got to put on a coat. So that means they don't have what this person right here have. 10 times out of 10, that'll be a blood type O person. You got a blood type O, okay, everything's cool with you. You're carrying within you supplements and of course genes and of course energy that's basically came with you when you came out your mom's belly. Versus the person with a blood type A or negative. Pretty much it plays out with the negatives. If you have negative, that means pretty much you don't have more of what you need when you basically get on the surface. So of course you gotta withstand certain things and of course intake certain things. So it's basically this is what's gonna get you back into areas of your life and things that matter. So you also got to basically look into matters where you have your blood type. 10 times out of 10, another reason why you have hair loss is because you don't have no iron in your body, no blood. And of course, you ain't got no blood in your body, then what's going to happen is you're not going to be pumping certain areas and certain veins, and shit is not going to, your blood flow is not going to get flowing. So that means 10 times out of 10, whatever you put in your body is parasitic shit, which means that the blood that's in your body, it's not gonna, shit is not going to get flowing. Certain areas, certain shit, like for instance, if you eat meat, 10 times out of, now, ain't nothing wrong with eating meat, but 10 times out of 10, if you keep overdoing something and not doing things in moderation, it can pretty much becomes kind of catastrophic. If you keep eating meat, and you know meat takes forever to digest out of your body, then what happens is, what stays inside, gonna come out eventually. But of course, if you keep eating shit, and not giving your body a break to basically flush out its fluids, what happens is your body is containing and taking shit away from you within you, aka cells, and it's deteriorating, it's detaching, of course, it's destroying. So of course, the more shit you put in your body, the more your body needs to take time to break it down. So that's why it's good to eat things light and learn balance. Sometimes not to overindulge. Sometimes give your body a break, which can be a Saturday. Limitations, restrictions. Also, even if you have Saturn in your charts too, this can also play out to positions where you're too hard on yourself. You don't smile more. So what happens is you get old, you still get dry and shit. For instance, you got a Saturn in your first house, which governs the hedosphere. This is gonna put you into a position of why you have certain structure and hardness, and certain, you're gonna be hard in certain areas when it comes to your personality. If you have a Capricorn ascendant, 10 times out of 10, that's how it plays out. So learn how to smile a little bit more and shit, you'll be alright. Also, if you're put into a position where I had another point. Fuck. Damn. Another reason is if you have hair loss, that 10 times out of 10 means that, you know, you jerking off a lot. Ladies, you playing with the vibrator too much and shit. Learn how to put that down a little bit, feel me? Especially if it's not for a good cause. 10 times out of 10, even if a male ejaculate, it'll take time for you to basically replenish your energy. But look at a female that's doing that. And remember, when you do use a female, what happens is a whole lot of fluids, a whole lot of things actually start to build up and accumulate. 10 times out of 10, it don't come out as quick as much of a man does. But if, for instance, when it's time for her to get her cycle, when she go through that 30-month phase, what happens is all that stuff get eradicated and get pushed out. So the more you keep jerking, playing around with the vibrator and shit, the more that shit can basically take all that energy out of you. And of course, this is how ladies get hair loss. Ladies, you put yourself in certain vibrations and certain energies. You lack self-confidence. You wear certain makeup and wigs and shit like that. Even though you're beautiful, regardless, you just gotta have a little bit of self-confidence in you. And of course, ain't nothing wrong with this shit, feel me? 10 times out of 10, you may have to wear wigs. Because when some girl try to fight your ass, she may try to pull your hair out and do some crazy wicked shit. So it's good to basically, you know, dress the part, look the part. But if you ain't got no self-confidence in yourself, this is what happens. Also, you know, have a lack of confidence. Also, putting yourself into positions where you guys is not doing things harmoniously, y'all doing things inharmoniously. For instance, if you all gonna pretty much play in that area or jack off and things that matter, make sure you're doing it inside of her. Because if you're doing outside of her, what happens is you're depleting yourself. And of course, spirits take the vessel, which the blood cells, and of course the sperm cells that's within you, they take that shape and form. So remember, if that's being depleted and pushed on the floor when you jack off, that means it's not being eradicated. A spirit cannot take that. 10 times out of 10, that become a bug or a parasite, which means it don't pretty much go inside the mother. It just takes the floor. They don't have no consciousness, no information or nothing. That's why it's good to basically, you know, connect with a female, ejaculate inside the female. This way you guys is not pretty much losing anything. Her fluids is going inside you. Your fluids is going inside her. This is what's creating the balance. 10 times out of 10, if y'all even do fuck in the pool, that's even better too, because things is not being released. Nothing is being released. Like, everything is basically being captured inside. So when you inside of her, everything is being connected. Like, you're connecting it together. And of course, y'all connecting the dots. Also, ejaculating too much can basically give you issues trying to get it up too. Or ladies, you might have issues with your vagina fluids. You should get too dry. You don't have enough energy. You don't got nothing pumping and shit like that. This is how you become fucked up. No energy, no power, no strength, no nothing. So this is how it plays out. So you gotta be very careful when you harming your body. Because you may be in your desire, but you're doing way harm.